Welcome, you're tuned to the Leg Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview show, Trackside Television's best hour of TV. You'd agree with that, Paul, surely. Good morning.
You've got my vote, Thad. Do I have a vote?
Probably not, knowing you, yeah. How's your week been? Been busy?
There's been plenty on, plenty. And I know Steve will touch on the results from last weekend soon, but there's been plenty going on here, as you know, with the transition into the new system. So we're still working on things.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're listening to feedback as well, aren't we? And trying to move quickly, be agile, I think is the terminology.
It's a work in progress.
Okay, exactly, it is. Morning, Stephen, how are you?
Morning, Thaddeus, yeah, very well.
How was last Saturday? Was the main meeting Te Rapa, of course?
Te Rapa, but it was a strong card also at Riccarton. Super Photon was outstanding, winning the listed race for the 2-year-olds. That's 2 from 2, so he remains unbeaten. Look, he's not smashing the clock, Thaddeus, but he's putting a nice margin between himself and the rest of his rivals. Look, whatever he does in terms of a type, pedigree, is a bonus at 2, and he's just going to make a ripping 3-year-old. And look, those 1,000, 2,000 guineas, I'm just drawing up those markets as we speak. So they'll come out in the next 2 to 3 days, so watch out for that on the new website. And Turn the Ace resumed and won very well for BP and all his followers. He resumed on the back of winning a trial, and he got the job done at Te Rapa. So that's win number 6 for Turn the Ace at Te Rapa. And I just did a little bit of homework, thinking and looking into what horses have won the most amount of wins at Te Rapa. And I think it's 7, Spin Doctor and Wordsworth. So maybe something to look out for in the next 2 to 3 months around Turn the Ace, whether he can climb that ladder and become the most winnable
winningest
horse at Te Rapa.
Wow, yeah, okay, that is something to keep an eye on.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who has referred to Super Photon
exactly where I was going.
Super Photon.
You have stuffed everyone up with your Super Photon, because even BP was saying it on Saturday. Super Photon, gents. Good morning, BP, to you. That Warriors top 8 price is getting juicier by the week.
Nice. I might have to double down on that little top 8 price there, team. So, keen to get involved, especially if we get the 2 points against the Sydney City Roosters on Sunday. And I'm sure they'll get their attack moving once that attack starts working again. Just need to add a little bit of grease and oil to that back line, and we'll be sweet once again. And the racing was sweet too on the weekend just gone. Yeah, really looking forward to what's in front of us over the next little period, because we've got a good race day set up on a top day on Saturday just gone, and it's that good autumn racing now. We're seeing some horses now that are looking for those track conditions to be in that 7, and then maybe working into that heavy bracket. We won't have that on Saturday out of Rotorua, but just some nice horses still going around with our feature race, 2 of them with La Creek featuring in them, so nice to see the Group 1 performer taking her place. And of course Brisbane starting to heat up with their carnival, and we see Molly Bloom, of course, taking her place on heavy surface, but Opie Bosson taking the ride. That Queensland carnival could be a good one to look forward to, and hopefully we can have some Kiwi success there.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. Look, BP, before we get to Maiden of the Week, I need to pick your brain. What do you know about this trackside plunge I saw at Whanganui yesterday? There was a little bit of blood on the floor here in Petone. You better let us know what happened here.
Well, I mean, I guess Pip can tell the story maybe by this footage with her terrific riding style here. Look, we all do it, and then we all kick our horses home. So yeah, Pip and Bevan Sweeney involved in Pukawa. In between runners there in the green, gets up in the little Avondale colours, and how cool to be able to be involved. It doesn't matter, eh? It doesn't matter how much you're involved in a horse. It has to have that winning thrill, and even when you're not even there, to experience it. There's some of those murder on the dance floor moves as well from Pip as well. So yeah, congrats team, super effort, and they certainly cleaned up off the tote also.
Yeah, no, she might have had a gold coin each way by the looks of it, Pip. That rivalling some Maiden Rodley sort of Mongolian Khan sort of stuff. Not quite on that level.
It's about 5 or 6 lengths off that.
No, congratulations to Pip and all the team there with that winner at Whanganui yesterday, and an extremely well-backed commodity it was, I can tell you.
Love the touchdown dance at the end as well. That was, very, very good.
No, good on her. BP, we'll come back to you now. Maiden of the Week time. Which race have you picked out for us this week?
Yeah, she's working on maybe a few CD Lamb touchdown, maybe in terms of a little touchdown dance there from Pip. But yes, let's press on. Let's find a maiden of the week. I thought there was quite a few actually to choose from, right from last Friday out of Woodville through to Wednesday this week. We've gone with Bourbon Empress as the one that we do like. Bourbon Empress bounced out of a race. When I was getting my wisdom teeth removed, Stephen Hunt found a very good maiden of the week by the name of Pure Fiction. Well, the Pure Fiction race has stood up because we've seen this horse bounce out of that race. We've seen Sweet Pea also winning on the same program. Pure Fiction could possibly win on the weekend also. The other thing I like about that race is Astilla. Yes, the horse that's got that big, red, flashing red light on its head, finishing on into second position. You'd imagine would have to be winning next time to the race the way that horse is flooded home.
Decent race you found there, Steve. That was a good one from Bourbon Empress.
It was. I think the key was Michael was able to use its gait, trail. The horse was always travelling. Look, the winner a long way from home. Look, again, he didn't smash the clock, but it was a very arrogant win. And as BP alluded, there's 2 or 3 in behind. That got beaten by a decent margin or worth following. So, no, that form out of Pure Fiction has definitely stood up in the last 7 days.
Okay, guys, let's start looking ahead to the weekend Saturday. We've got Rotorua and New Plymouth. We're going to focus in on Rotorua with our 4 races, Steve. And what track conditions and weather should we be expecting tomorrow afternoon?
Well, if you go back a few weeks ago, they had the resuming meeting at Ottawa Park, Rotorua. That was on the 17th of April. And the rail was out 3 metres that day, Thaddeus, and it was a genuine soft track, similar to what we're going to find tomorrow. So I think you can work a lot of that form from a few weeks ago into Saturday's meeting. The rail goes back in the true position. It's a soft 7 currently. Whether we get an upgrade remains to be seen. There's no rain around that, but with these frosty, cold mornings, I'll be banking on it being around about where it sits at the moment, a 7.
Okay, currently a 7, and that's where we think it will stay. Let's have a look at race number 7 first, Stephen. The Rotorua ITM Stakes, 1,400 metres, Group 3, weight for age for the fillies and mares.
You're headed by the Group 1 winner, Thaddeus and La Creek, and well played as well in the first 36 odd hours. $3 trading flat currently off a peak of $3.30 and accounts for 40% of the hold. In front of Carmen line $8. I'm Unstoppable, one of many 3-year-olds in the race, also on that second line at 8. Mary Shan, 9 into 8.50, got as short as 8, but just back out of turn 8.5. Double figures around Improvu at $10. Impendabel, the third of the 3-year-olds in this race at $10, just out a couple of turns to 12. Outside that, Wessex, the defending champ at $13, peaked off a $14 price. Not Guilty is best of the rest at 21. So look, that middle market is fairly static / quiet, Thaddeus, and they're pretty keen at the pointy end, in particular the favourite in La Creek. Okay,
let's start BP where we deserve to start, and that's with La Creek last time out. Look, she's the class galloper, as we know, and they might run the trial on the back of this win in the Otaki Māori weight for age, BP, but she almost picks herself with the ratings.
Look, she does. She looks incredibly well placed. You then throw into the mix that she has the barrier draw, and I think another thing too is she gets a track condition that's not going to be bottomless. Now, this is a race meeting historically where this track can be a heavy 10. The Rotorua Cup a number of times has been in that bracket, so we're not talking heavy 10. We've got ourselves a soft 7. Very good conditions today, Friday, and then leading into Saturday. So there's no rain around in the forecast, which is great to mean that we're going to be sitting somewhere in that 7 spot, and you can almost bet with a little bit of confidence knowing where the track's going to sit. That's a good place for her. We know she likes to get her toe into the ground. She excels when she just gets that forgiveness for her. 77 days between runs since that win there out of Otaki, and this is her trial where she finished into second position at her home track out of Te Awamutu, and she just does what she needs to do. It was a nice little clean-up trial for her over 1,150 metres. I want to mark down the winner of this trial as well, and that being Dusty Road. But this is a horse that looks bang on, has the right barrier draw, and she's a 2-time Group 1 winner. She's going to be hard to beat.
There's no doubt about that, Steve. I mean, if La Creek turns up, La Creek we know off a bit of a break, she'd be winning, wouldn't she?
She would. I can't recall a race where you've got the top-rated horse 20 rating points clearer than the second highest. That's almost unknown. But if you're going to find it, it's going to be in these weight for age races, whether it's open or to fillies and mares. So As BP said, she almost picks herself, but there are a couple of variables, the setbacks that she's had throughout her last 18 months. Let's not beat around the bush. She's had issues for a fairly long time now, La Creek. I know if she's right, you'd almost pay the check out right now, but I don't know, BP. I reckon that draw could play problematic. She's drawn barrier 2. The horse Insider has tactical speed, so that horse will push forward. I could see La Creek and Matthew Cameron getting back 3-4 back rail. I don't know, we just saw that meeting a few weeks ago, though, definitely coming off the rail and heading to that middle part of the track, and that was just a soft track. It wasn't a heavy track. I don't know, I could see it becoming quite ugly for Maddie if, and look, we're looking at back into the day, so you'll be able to adjust and weigh up in how the track's playing come the feature, but I don't know, barrier 2, I reckon if the Connections were able to pick the draw, they'd be preferring somewhere around 7 or 8. It just could become quite sticky.
I mean, that meeting that we saw was a couple of weeks ago there out of Rotorua, the rail was out 3 metres, wasn't it? So they do come back to the true position. So there is that chance of being on the fresher ground, which is that 3 metres that they weren't on last time to the races. So I think that's something to play into her favour at least. I mean, yes, you're right. That is near the back end of the program. So we're going to know by about 3 or 4 races if that is not the spot to be, and they do start working away from the rail. But look, maybe it could be a spot where they want to stay for most of the meeting if it is hovering around 7, and that's the fresh ground. So, yeah, I guess that's one point right now that we're not going to know until we get closer to Saturday in terms of working through the program to get an assessment of how the track is playing.
Paul, next race replay I want to have a look at is Carmen Line and Fontaine at Te Rapa. Carmen Line just knocked off here, and Fontaine a tough resuming run, I thought.
Yeah, I guess Carmen Line is one of the main challenges for La Creek, and she got a gun right here by Billy Pinn at Te Rapa, just in behind the speed, out at the turn, and then only just caught on the line by, I think it was Freeze Frame with Sumi running into third.
Lano Sullivan award-winning ride.
Indeed, very much so. Look, and I thought she wasn't the worst to start before in the Group 1 New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders. So, look, she's got a tricky draw, although, as Steve has just said, maybe being drawn out a little wide won't be the worst place to be by the time they get to, the Rotorua Stakes on Saturday. Fontaine, look, fresh up there at Te Rapa, straight to the lead. And I thought, look, she kept giving down the straight, and she'll be better for that run. But, yeah, Carmen Line was, I thought, a very, very good run there.
Yeah,
she led that day. I think she was exposed early in the straight. A little bit of unknown territory around her. I think Massa will try and ride over a little bit of cover.
I've always thought that, I just flashed back to that win. It was her maiden victory where she was ridden back and just stormed home.
Yeah, often that's been barriers that have dictated where she's mapped in key races in the last 12 or so months. But, yeah, I just feel with that niggly gate, if they can get some cover midfield, might be the best way to ride her and attack the line. But, yeah, like I say, no excuses, but I just feel there was a touch of exposed vulnerability about her at Te Rapa last start.
Yeah, okay. The 3-year-old certainly had some spice to this, Steve. Let's have a look at the Cambridge Breeders. I'm Unstoppable winning. Impenda Bell running the Impenda Bell race for third, and Mary Shan, a bit of a betting plunge and finishing on for 6th.
Yeah, I think the first half of the race you see there, they've gone out even tempo. On the eye, you thought they went out fairly soft, and it was a race that was dominated by on speed. But I think the key around Sam Spratt is that she was able to quicken from roughly around the 700-800 metre mark, and she ran home 35.42 off the front, so it made it very hard for anything that was catching her on a genuine soft track. Geatrix was very good, best closing splits in the race. Mary Shan, the only other galloper outside Geatrix to break 12 seconds for the last 200. They can be low percentage plays, in particular Geatrix, which we'll see earlier in the card, and we'll talk about that 3-year-old race later in the show. But, yeah, look, I'm going to trust the eye. The clock was solid enough, and I'm Unstoppable. You've got to remember, the horse won by 3.5 lengths. It takes bad luck out of the equation, has tactical speed. There was a bit more speed in this race. So look, I don't think they're going to get it their own way. Kiva Hahn, Wessex, there's 2 or 3 that will want to put the acid in the first furlong or two. But look, performance rating was really creditable, 91.9 on the back of that. I'm Unstoppable. So I reckon that's the number 1 seed when it comes to 3-year-olds, even though they're quite tight and similar in the marketplace.
I thought Mary Shan might be a bit, Paul. Just getting home, follow the money first up. I don't know.
track conditions to suit.
Steps up to 1400 is a big
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going in her.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% in her favour.
Yeah, okay. Last race replay, BP, will come back to you as Improvu, Isla J, Not Guilty, and Zayla resuming at Ellerslie. I believe this is the Sacred Satono race.
Yeah, you're right there, Thad, and this is where we see Improvu doing its best work, finishing into third position. Zayla is a runner that was first up this day when finishing into seventh out wide. And what was the other? Not Guilty, wasn't it, who finished into sixth position this day on that first race out of Ellerslie, where they ran 109 and it pelted down with a heap of rain. Just back to those 3-year-old fillies. Now, of course, we saw a 3-year-old filly win this race last year and is a competitor this year, of course, in Wes X. And you've got Impenda Bell, who drew one in that I'm Unstoppable race, finished third, has an awkward gate to contend with. Yeah, but Mary Shan is that one where took a lot of money, ran a huge race when getting back as well. That's the other thing we thought. How do they overcome her barrier draw? Did they show her tactical speed? They took their medicine, went back, and she ended up running with the second fastest sectionals of the race behind Geriatrics, running 8.642, second fastest. So a more middle barrier draw, she can be a race, and you'd imagine Spratt's going to do something similar with I'm Unstoppable to try and get that horse out of the barriers and get it in a forward position from barrier number 6. So I think from a map point of view, I certainly hear Stephen's point there around a few horses there that want to go forward, especially on the outside of La Creek, and try and find that position. But yeah, I keep coming back to La Creek. I think she is very well placed as a Group 1 winner in this event. She's going to be awfully hard to topple, and now she's already $3 from $3.30. You could see her price keep moving if that track plays favourable for her. She likes the conditions. We could see her really tighten up through the afternoon. So yeah, with La Creek, if you're trying to find something away, I thought Mary Shan was that horse. If you're looking for something on the each way, or if you're trying to play a same race multi.
I like where your head's at around Mary Shan each way. BP's with La Creek, gents. Paul, your final thoughts? Who are you backing in the ITM Stakes here, Rotorua ITM Stakes?
Well, I keep looking at La Creek and just the rating special that she is. I look at BP's Cowboys jersey and I think, do we do an Ezekiel Elliott and just eat as much as we can get in terms of La Creek? Oh, look, it's very, very... If she's good to go, that price is ridiculous.
I know, this is the thing, but I can't quite bring myself to back her in the same breath. I don't know what it is.
That's got me convinced. I'm on La Creek.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, game over. Stephen, final thoughts?
Yeah, just with the price currently on La Creek, obviously we opened a touch high of 320, 330. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling it's finding its mark around that $283 mark. I think there will be some traction on horses outside her. So, look, I wouldn't be diving in and rushing in at the $3 price personally, but I'll go with one of the 3-year-olds. I'm Unstoppable. I'm just trusting the eye. I'm trying to push away the SP. I think the SP, a lot of people are looking at $15, $16 shot last start. Was it a fluke? I don't know. I think she's a horse that can back up that performance at Tadapa. Like I say, she takes bad luck out of the equation. She doesn't have to lead. She can sit outside or even trail if there's 2 or 3 that want to go in and outside her. And she's got Sam spread on. I don't think 1400 will be an issue. And it'll be similar track conditions around that middle range of soft compared to what it was at Tadapa.
Okay, BP and Paulie with La Creek. Steve with I'm Unstoppable on the Rotorua IDM Stakes.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid, that's the bottom line. Hey, I have a lot.
Lance O'Sullivan Award time on the leg up. The prestigious Lance O'Sullivan Award. And who's going to take home the gong this week, BP?
We've found Sam Wynn with a very good ride from a tricky gate out of Riccarton last week aboard Dangerous Liaison. This horse drew wide. Of course, they went there with a stakes mission in mind and had to be scratched the day of the race meeting. And as you can see there in the Sims Davison colours, the Mapley stud colours, drawing out wide, and she finds that position of one off there. So tracking beautifully into the race, sitting in there around that 5th position. Really couldn't ask for much more from that point of view. Then it was just down to Sam executing the ride from there. She was able to get the horse into the fresh air at the right time, present it, and Dangerous Liaison really living up to a nice little reputation. As I said, they were looking at trying to aim for a stakes race at Riccarton a couple of weeks prior, but unfortunately couldn't take her place in that race. But they got some chockies on Saturday with that ride from Sam Wynn for our Lano Sullivan Award winner from last weekend.
Yeah, absolute peach of a ride from a Waibara draw, finding the slot in. Well done to Sam Wynn. I know she'll be ecstatic, Paul.
Sam Wynn, yes she does.
Sam Wynn, yes she does. Very good. Okay, team. Rotorua Cup time, Steve. It's race number 5 on the card, the Campbell Infrastructure Rotorua Cup over the 2,200 metres, and no surprise it's a wide open field.
Yeah, so the tab went up, equal faves here. Valdezoldo, the Fearless one, 650 each of 2, but just a bit of movement around number 10. Lonesome fave, Valdezoldo, 650 into $6. Prince Albie, LJ, $8 in that third line. Enride at $9. Bella Waters at 9.5. Double figures, obviously a very compressed market here, Thaddeus. Sporting Chance, Elegant Lady, $10. The 2. Hula Beat, impressive last start winner, comes into this race with a lightweight $11. And then a bit of a separation to the best of the rest in Langkawi at a $20 price. So no clear / strong lead, but what I can say is that we do have a lonesome fave here in Valdezoldo, where it was, from the original quote, 650 each of 2, around the 10 and the 8, the 8 and the 10. Okay,
well, let's have a look at Valdezoldo BP. This is the Travis Stakes, Valdezoldo finishing 4th, and sort of cheeky run from Kentucky Rose.
It was a runner that went around at a big price in the race. Valdezoldo, about here, you're thinking, gee, things are looking good here. A runner that ran well the start prior in the Maoate breeders. And this is her finishing into 4th position in the end. So she comes back to open handicap grade as a 4-year-old mare. So she sits in at 53 kilograms. But look, only swamped very late by obviously Apostrophe, who was enormous to win that race because it never looked like winning almost the entire way down the straight. And then a couple of other horses that were around her. So, yep, she's got enough merit, I think, with what she's showing there. She'll also like that it's not going to be into that heavy range. That's a good thing for her too. So a couple of good positives around what is looking like a very even Rotorua Cup.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The other favourite is the Fearless one, Steve. Well, the opening joint favourite was the Fearless one, and this is the Anzac Mile, Steve. Dark Destroyer also competed in this, finishing 6th.
Yeah, the old boy Dark Destroyer, obviously a Group 1 winner 2 or 3 seasons ago, led on this occasion. I think they're just changing a few things, the stable and how they ride him, distance, etc. on Dark Destroyer. It's just not quite working out. They're hovering between that 16, 2, 2, 2, 1 distance. Like I say, led on this occasion where normally he's a horse that likes to get back and finish over the top of them, but just not sure where he's at. And on the Fearless one, look, I know the race didn't suit in terms of the race shape. They went out fairly soft to the 600, sprinted home, a race that was dominated by the first 3 or 4 around the turn. Look, he does step up to the 2-2, which is no doubt a positive. But his numbers in the last 12 months have definitely regressed going back to 2022 when he hit his peak. He went over to Queensland, he ran a couple of really good races, and he was hovering around that mid to high 90s in terms of a performance rating. But he's definitely regressed. He's had some issues. He's been lightly raced in the last 12 to 18 months. And on his last 2 runs, $6.50, that's far too short for me. Again, he's a horse that gets back, relies on luck and tempo. And he is going up in trip for the very first time this preparation. Normally on an off track, I like to see them have a bit of a grounding in terms of first time 2,000, a little bit of a risk. I like them second up. So, look, I priced him a 6% chance. So at the $6.50, I just can't like him at that price. And I expect him to drift. Whether he starts at that mid-teens where I've got him, probably not, because he is a popular horse and there has been money / traction for him. But just on his recent form, I think he's a bit of a liability. And I just feel that people are going off his numbers from 18 plus months ago, which is a little bit of a concern.
Okay. Paul, I want to bring you in for the next race replay, and it's a couple of very interesting runners, I thought. Your old mate, Prince Albie, finishing 2nd for Kelvin Tyler. And what's Kevin Myers up to with LJ? I'm sure you'll know.
Well, I'm hoping he's up to something very, very good because I really like the chances of LJ Rotorua on Saturday. Look, this was a very slowly run race with both of these runners going back. I think Prince Albie made the move first and I think he made a move at around the 600 metre mark, which was probably the place to do that. LJ waited a little bit longer, so I'm just thinking, is Kevin Myers just building nicely for this Rotorua Cup tomorrow? I'm very, very keen on the chances of LJ. I just love the way that LJ finished off there. Has the services of Ngako Haley, who is riding very, very well at the moment. So For mine, I think we're getting a price at the moment on LJ at around the $8 mark.
Yeah, there was no money from second up there at Whanganui, and maybe this was the target all along, the Rotorua Cup ball.
Quite possibly, Stephen.
Quite possibly. Yeah, okay. Steve, we'll come back to you because the next race replay I want to have a look at. Enright, Valdezoldo again, and yeah, this was the cheeky run of Kentucky Rose. It wasn't in the Travis. It was about 10 lengths last Kentucky Rose than that. So this is a little bit more cheeky. But here's Valdezoldo again.
You have to go back to early March, so it's a little time between drinks here for Enright. But this is only 75 grade. I concede that. But you can link some forms and some brunches around the horses he did beat, and Valdezoldo, who finished third, and Kentucky Rose fourth, as he's mentioned, Thaddeus. But I think the key around Enright is he loves the course. I think that's important when you're touching on Ottawa Park form lines. He carried 59.5 that day at 75 grade, so he steps up in class but down in weight, which I don't mind on off tracks. I think it's a bit of a sweet spot. And he carries the minimum here of 53 on Saturday. As I say, vital track form, and he's a horse that maps in the first two. I don't see a huge amount of pressure. There's one or two that will go forward, but I think with Enright they can just sit outside lead or lead at different stages of the race. And yeah, I'm pretty keen for him, a nice each-way play. He's currently around about $19.
Okay, and last race replay, BP is Hula Beat winning. Last start at Matamata, and he did this pretty well.
Yeah, look, and again, it's a different form line to be taking. It's a rating 65 and jumpers benchmark this race that Hula Beat won, but boy, I mean, he bolted it. He absolutely just ran away from them and won by a margin of 5.5 lengths. So what you're getting here is a horse that's bringing sky-high confidence from beating a lot weaker opposition than what we see here on Saturday for the Rotorua Cup. But gee, it was some win. It was some win. It's a horse that was hinting that wasn't too far away, and going into that 65, it was a favoured runner, and it's got the job done. And yeah, it just might be one for those if you're trying to find something a little bit rougher in your first fours. I really like LJ. LJ is one of those horses. Well, you've got to time your run, don't you? You really have to time your run to know when it's time to push the go button. And I think, like you said to Thad, like you said to Thad to Paulie, is that you need to know, it's nice to be in the know somehow if it is go time with this runner. But I just like the setup around him, because his run last start to the races tells me it is. He gets in a better place at the weights against Prince Albie. What is it, 1.5 kilos on Prince Albie? I think he's an each-way bet. I do. He'll get the track set up. We know he'll see distance, no problem, and that run was a really good opener towards a race like this. So I'm happy to have something on LJ on the each-way in this weekend's Rotorua Cup.
You and BP, lining up BP with LJ. Is that your bet in the race, LJ?
Oh, I'm with BP there, yeah.
Yeah, BP.
I think it's the time to push go.
I'll let you know tomorrow on the track side whether it's really time to push go. So listen to what I have to say leading into the Rotorua Cup tomorrow. Steve, your final thoughts on the Rotorua Cup?
Yeah, just how I spoke about around Enright's chances. I've got him on top. Look, it's an even race. I respect that, but I think at $19 you can go 1x2 kind of play around Enright, and I think he maps well with Kelly Myers. Will have options, sit outside lead or lead. And just on the fearless one, again, I don't want to put too many negatives towards this horse, but just through NZTR, they've declared Craig Grills and they're happy for him to carry 1 kg above the allocated weight, so he'll carry 54 now, the fearless one in the Rotorua Cup.
Okay, BP and Paul, trusting dummy with LJ, Steve around Enright in this year's Campbell Infrastructure Rotorua Cup.
Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free.
Doing hard time for another week. Paul, who's unlucky? Who's been doing hard time over the last 7 days?
We just have to head back to yesterday, Thursday at Whanganui, and the last race, which was over the mile, and the favourite, Obadiah, who got back, and boy, they walked here, got back and then had plenty in the tank and just could not get through down the straight, unfortunately. So, well, once again, this is not a forum to bash jockeys. This is just a look at...
if luck had gone your way...
If luck had gone your way, then you're probably walking to the window to collect a few dollars. But as you can see here, there was just no way through for Joe Dorlan, the favourite Obadiah, in the last at Whanganui yesterday.
And the red and white there, just looking for a run. The damage was probably done at the 1,000, Steve.
Yeah, he probably just fell asleep a touch around about the 1,000 metre mark. He drew barrier 10, Joe Dorr. Again, we don't want to be bagging jockeys, but at the same time, we give a lot of credit to jockeys as well. So, yeah, just the race shape probably didn't suit.
You would go we were there, they
but
were.
yeah, look, it was a tricky day, as we know. Whanganui, inside jaws can be a total put-off / negative, and outside jaws, they all rush to the outside fence from roughly around about the 700-800 metre mark, so it can be quite congested and tight racing.
Yeah.
I'd be getting on next start.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's another reason we have that. So, yeah, Obadiah, follow your money there. Okay, race number 1 on the card. Steve's the next race we want to have a look at. That's the Van Dykes 3-year-old, 1,400 metres. Nice little field, does.
Yeah, nice turnover too, Thaddeus. Geatrix has been well played. Early doors, 420 into 380. Heads the market in front. It's a charm deal at 4.6. It's been static from Wednesday afternoon. Paragon 950, just bouncing between 9 and 9.5. Outside that, Lock Katrine at 4.8. Fashion Shoot's been well played, 850 into 7.5. She has the same quote now as Bozo, who's back from an Oaks trip. And Charmer Impressive Maiden win at $17. A little bit soft early stages. So a couple of leads around Fashion Icon, Lock Katrina. It's Charm Deal being played, but the best in terms of a strong lead sits with number 1 in Geatrix.
Yeah, well, I know you're reasonably keen, BP, on the 1 in the book. And here's the run again in the Cambridge Breeders. Our Absolute also competing here, finished second. It is at $7.
Yeah, massive. This is a huge run. And I think our Absolute you have to respect too, because she went round at 60s plus and ended up running into second position. One thing I took away from this race when working there a couple of Saturdays ago is we interviewed Andrew Scott straight away, and they won the race with I'm Unstoppable. And about 2 sentences in, he did also say, wow, what about the run of Geriatrics though? And I initially, when watching the race, I was thinking, well, gee, I didn't even see Geriatrics in the picture. Where did it finish? And then reviewing and looking at the run, man, the horse was enormous. If he wins tomorrow, there is a bit of a chance that he might find himself in Brisbane, this horse Geriatrics. So I think the setup around this race is perfect for him to get the job done. He's run exceptional time there. Of course he has. He's run back last and he's flooded home out wide, so he's going to run all the right sectionals. He's come home the fastest 8.642. If you're liking I'm Unstoppable of winning the feature race tomorrow, well, that's the horse that's won the race. Yeah, I just think he's got a lot of good things in his favour here. Good draw. That's one thing with him, is that he is a runner that gets himself in those awkward spots, but it's a smaller field. There is, 14 runners in that race last time. He only has 8 other runners around him to compete with. Jeffy lands in a nice midfield spot, one off. He's going to be hard to catch.
What about Geriatric, Steve? As BP sort of alluded to, can be a low percentage play, but the small field?
Yeah, I think the small field helps, no doubt. It could become quite tactical. First race of the day, jockeys will just go out there and feel the track, etc., and how it's playing. And quite often they can be slow tempo races early on the card. And yeah, our Absolute, Fashion Icon, probably the default 2 that will go forward. Whiskey and Rye, Paragon led last start, but quite often can find a spot. So yeah, it looks tactical on paper. It doesn't always unfold that way, and that's probably the negative around Geatrix, and that's why you're getting an okay price currently at $384.
I'm fairly sure that Sam Spratt will have Geriatrics handily placed right from the jump.
Handily played, drawn 4, get into the perfect spot, a little bit closer.
100%.
And just round them up.
Yes.
Well, she's riding well, isn't she?
She is, very much so.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay, next race replay, Steve, our Absolute. Competed again, it's a charm deal. Lock Katrine resuming here. Talk us through this.
Yeah, obviously this form has been franked. I'm Unstoppable, finishing second here. Came out and won the Breeders' its next start. Our Absolute was brave, and what you'd say was in the IG there. And it's a charm deal. You see that back last, comes off heels right to the outside, doing all its best work late and through the line. Look, it resumed 225 days off the scene here. Showed real upside roughly around about 12 months ago, albeit was on heavy track. So, but on that occasion, first up, got away with the better surface. It'll be interesting to see how it adjusts to another start, second time in, on a genuine soft, because as I say, its best numbers have been on heavy track, saying that it's a small sample size. So not a total knock around, it's a charm deal on a better surface. But yeah, look, I think that's strong enough. It's a charm deal. A bit like Geatrix has low tactical speed, but Sam Weatherly's on here, and if they can use that gate and position maybe it doesn't have to trail, but in the first 3 or 4, that will help its chances. So, yeah, it's a sticky one. It's whether it has the turn of foot to finish over Geatrix, because they're going to be in a similar position, possibly so. But yeah, it's a very even race, and there's 2 or 3 there that are winning chances.
Yeah, no doubt there is. In the last race replay, we've got Lock Katrine and Fashion Icon. Is Lock Katrine finishing second?
She fought all the way down the straight, only just missed out to the Lisa Ladder runner, Lantern Way.
It set wide that day too, Lock
Did,
Katrine, didn't it?
yeah. So really fought very strongly down the straight. Michael McNabb jumps on, which is a huge plus given the way that he's going at the moment. I thought Fashion Icon didn't give up and has shown improvement over her last couple of starts. And if Stephen's right and Fashion Icon is a default leader early on, Massa might just get away with one here. If the other jockeys are just feeling their way in race 1, this could be one where Fashion Icon gets up.
There's always money for Fashion Icon, isn't there?
There is
It's
indeed.
usually a well-backed commodity, isn't it?
Very much so, yes.
Well, your final thoughts, Paul, on this race? Who are you going to have a bet on? How do we attack this race? It's a competitive little 3-year-old race, this.
Yes, it is, very much so. Look, I don't mind the look of Lock Katrine.
I'm with you.
I'm happy to have Lock Katrine in there. Look, Geriatrics, if Geriatrics gets the right trip, we'll be right in it there. But I'd like to make a little bit of a stab for Paragon, who we haven't mentioned at this stage. I think that last start win was very good, and I can see him going on with it.
Okay, $9.50 Paragon. Steve, your final thoughts here? Who's going to win the race?
Even race 30th. Look, I'm not confident, but I'll just see what price Lock Katrine potentially gets out to. Just with warm money around Geatrix and a couple at the point end of the market, Lock Katrine, if it can get out to an okay price on my scale, I could be keen on that horse. I just thought there's a sense of timing. First up, it rated 77.4. Took decent improvement at Whanganui over 13.40 in a race that went extremely hard. And that was the one horse that covered significant ground, hit the lead at the 200 and just peaked on its run and rated 88. So, look, even if it becomes static in that rating of 88 this time in, that's a winning number, but I still feel there's room for improvement to hit that 90, and that will be definitely good enough to win this race. There'll be a few horses that haven't got near to that rating 90, so on that scale, I'm pretty keen on Lock Katrine.
Love the dam too. Conger, good man.
Genuine heavy tracker,
Yeah. Hopefully she can handle a 7. Can Lock Katrine BP surmise the race? We missed anything? Tell us who we need to be backing in race 1.
Yeah, in Sprat I trust here with Geriatrix. I really do like this horse's chances here on Saturday. Yes, it could be a little bit of an awkward watch, but if she can get mobile at the right time and be there when ready to sort of search it, we know that it can be a swoopers track. Yes, as much as it's a short straight there at Rotorua, she just needs to be able to make sure that she gets mobile at the right time, because his turn of foot is enough to be able to win this race. If you are looking for a slightly different angle in the event, maybe have a look at a same race multi with Geriatrix top 3 into our Absolute that is running with the Cambridge Breeders form, where they finished 2nd and 7th respectively, and our Absolute with the barrier draw to be able to take a position of maybe outside leader. That current same race multi sits at $3.60, so that's it's a nice little saver as well if you're having something to win on Geriatrix.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there.
Crunching the numbers time for another week, where we have a little bit of a statistical look back at the racing. Stephen, what have you found for us to sink our teeth into this week?
Yeah, I just want to crunch some numbers around the apprentices. I've highlighted half a dozen here, Thaddeus, and just in the last 2 to 3 weeks, how they've been travelling numbers-wise. Narajan Palmer, 12 wins from his last 35 rides at 34%, a profit on turnover plus 43%. You'll see a natural trend here. Look at the POTs, 42% for Tristan Moodley, 9 wins from his last 31 rides. Jessica Allen, 5 wins from her last 15 rides. Small sample size, but rating through the roof. POT of plus 74%. Narco Haley there, 8 wins from his last 30 rides. Ace Lawson Carroll, again, a high POT of 20%, 9 wins from 39 rides in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And CL Butler now, 5 wins a game from 24 wins. So a lot of these numbers well, all these numbers are based on horses they've ridden up to $10. So horses that have been presented at the pointy end of the market, the jockeys, the apprentices, are getting their chance on horses that are respectable by the marketplace, and they're doing the job. Now, why are those POTs so high, Thaddeus? Well, it's the change of guard, the tricky stage of the season where you've been playing on good tracks and you're hovering to that soft track and you're progressing to heavy track come the winter period of June, July and August. I do feel, look, there's obviously a sweet spot for the apprentices and their claims over the winter period, but I do feel there's an edge when you're coming between seasons, and we're finding that right now, where the marketplace hasn't adjusted or by the track conditions and the apprentices and their claims. And a lot of weight is still carried on the senior jockeys and those horses they're riding at the point end of the market, where the apprentices, I think when they're riding these horses at $10 and below, normally you're getting 20 to 30% above what there should be if a senior jockey was aboard. So I just feel there's a nice little wedge for the next 2 to 3 weeks before we hit those genuine heavy 10s around the claimers at the moment.
Okay, so the market's undervaluing the apprentices is what we're sort of surmising.
100%. They're still weighing heavily on the senior jockeys, whether that's Michael McNabb, Warren Kennedy, the 4 or 5 that hit the Premier or the Premiership at this stage. So, yeah, I think there's just a nice little wedge, and there has been for the last 2 to 3 weeks. And I think there will be for at least the next fortnight or so.
Okay, those are Paul Maoate numbers, those profit on turnover figures, plus 74%, plus 50%.
I'm one of the best apprentices going around there.
Yeah, don't know if you might be just riding a bit of overs. High weights only for you, I think. Last race we want to have a look at, team. Race number 4 on the card. It's a rating 75. The Macmillan Accountants, 1560, Steve, and headed up by a talented galloper here.
Yeah, Casino Princess, she's a beauty. I love her. $3.20 into $3. Clearly the best back runner in this race. In fact, she's the best back runner on the card at Rotorua Park. $3.20 into $3. Xantabulous, $5.50 into $5. Extortion at $6 in that third line. Nigella Lane and Bellazor at $6.50 each of 2. Darcy's Angel, been fluctuating between $8.50 and $8. Diomedes at $9 resumes here. Fly My Way double figures at $17. So there's a bit of a separation from number 1 down in terms of the marketplace. Family Ties also at 17. So look, overall summary, there's nothing in terms of the middle market that's been specced, but they're very keen on this favourite in Casino Princess.
Okay, the top 2 favourites come out of their last start runs at Te Rapa, BP, Casino Princess, Xantabulous and Extortion, and they ran the trifecta.
They did, and there's a key moment here about to happen with Casino Princess where the jockey will lose the whip. And there it is there. And Xantabulous wins coming underneath and winning strongly. Xantabulous, of course, this was 2 starts ago for her. She's since run again and finished into 3rd position. But look, she does get half a kilo in favour. Does Casino Princess on their last meeting on Xantabulous. Has Michael McNabb aboard. She's giving that indication that she is so close. She is so close to getting the job done. I do like what Xantabulous has done, though, the last couple of starts. This horse hinted 12 months ago that she could be rather handy, and it's just taken a little time for it to all develop for her, but she looks to be in a really good spot at the moment, Xantabulous. So I think they're the 2 that can go very close once again. Got a different little beat type to potentially play around those 2 horses, but we'll talk about that near the end. But yeah, I find them both strong plays in race number 4.
He's teased that beautifully, hasn't he, BP, around it. Casino Princess, Steve, a word on that, or that race, Xantabulous. BP's right about Xantabulous. I thought it looked, it was going to be very, very good. It just has taken a bit of time, but we might be seeing the best of Xantabulous in the next 12 months. Yeah,
look, I think it was a couple of seasons ago she was so big and rated a massive number, Mata from memory, or whether it was a Maiden or a rating 65 win as a 3-year-old. But look, she's beautifully bred. Time has obviously been her friend. She's had the odd issue, lightly raced for a 4-year-old mare, only the 11 starts to date. And yeah, I think that is the A-grade form, linking around Casino Princess and Xantabulous. And yeah, interesting to see what BP's got in terms of a bet time.
Yeah, I can't wait. Paul, we saw Extortion run 3rd in that race at Te Rapa, and I know you're a Cody Cole man, and who wouldn't be the way he's been going lately. This Extortion at its next start at Whanganui.
Yeah, and it was a dream run here at Wanganui. Look, he was outside the lead. It was a dead set walk, Thad. And so it was very tough for those back markers to make any ground. So he he was ridden perfectly. He did enough to win, and off of that, it's got me interested.
Yeah.
He's got me interested because I just like the way he was through the line as well. Look, everything went perfectly for him that time at Wanganui.
Okay.
But he's got ability.
Yeah, and he race up on speed again, you'd think.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Steve, the next race replay, we're going back to Xantabulous here. That was the start. The last start for Xantabulous, finishes third at Matamata, but there's a few horses to have a look at here.
Yeah, half a dozen horses that are backing up from this race into Saturday's assignment. I think the key aspect around this race is the race shape to the 600. They've gone out 50 and change, 17 or 11.7 lengths, should I say, below open class. They've run home almost 36 flat, plus 5.1 lengths above open class. So it really did suit for those horses on speeds. Xantabulous was doing its best work through the line against the race shapes. It's a massive tick there. There's an interesting runner that comes out of that race in Nigella Lane, who presented first up for Ralph Manning and his team. There was no money that day at Matamata, so they're looking for a horse that was probably going to set up second or third up. It hit second up here. It's had one start at Ottawa Park for one win, Nigella Lane, and it's surrounded herself with some really good horses and a light career to date, only the 10 starts for a couple wins and a few placings. So I think she's the big improver coming out of that particular race at Matamata. Not saying she can turn the tables on Xantabulous, but yeah, I think she can run above betting expectations, number 11, Nigella Lane.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to mention here? Madame Lefay competed in strong company last time. Family ties, the best family ties to be competitive, and has Jess Allen aboard. Any other things we need to mention here? Any other horses?
Well, Bellazor, no jockey at present, and it does have a jockey, and it's a dual accepted down at MP. So that's one horse that you might just want to take a little bit of a risk factor of not being there on Saturday at Ottawa Park. But yeah, in terms of an overall summary, I think Casino Princess is clearly the horse to beat. I was very close to making it my bet of the weekend, but I just thought there was enough in the race to suggest that it was competitive. And I thought Nigella Lane, that was the insurance bet. I think it could possibly drift with the warm support and the punters gravitating towards the top 2 or 3 in the book.
Okay, Paul, your final thoughts here. Who are you backing? You'll have something from left field, surely.
I'm going very boring here. I love the look of the Cliffy Goss runner, Casino
Cliffy,
Princess. Currently $3 and has been crunched a wee bit. What was out at around $3.40 yesterday, now into $3. So I like to follow that money there. But Bellazor, I don't care where she runs, whether it be at Rotorua or New Plymouth, I'll be jumping on.
Yeah, okay, so keep your eyes peeled on
Rated well last start.
Yeah, okay, one. We better get back to BP here because I can't wait to see what he's cooked up in this race. Surmise the race, BP.
Do you have a drum beat?
Reveal how you're going to attack it.
It's not groundbreaking stuff, but team, come on.
We've really spruiked it. Sorry, mate.
Look, it's just a chance to play one of the new options, and it's maybe a chance here to expose it. Now, the price is $1.88. It's either Casino Princess or Xantabulous to win in a blended single. So I think the blended singles is a market where, when we get to this period of racing, if you do like horses that are at a bit of a price. Now, we're looking at 2 horses that are first and second favourite, and you're thinking, gee, $1.88. But you can multi that. You can run that through a multi. So if you kick off a multi through the start of the day, and then you've got that finishing on 2 horses to win, it's just another way of just trying to keep something on your side if you are beaten by the one that you're most worried about. So if it's not Xantabulous, it might be Nigella Lane, as Stephen's pointed out there, as that other horse you could throw into your blended single. That horse won at the meeting last year. It was a heavy 10 when it won at the meeting last year, Nigella Lane. And then again, you can branch off that. Yes, of course, you can take your stock standard Quinella, but even the top 3, Casino Princess into Xantabulous top 4, is currently $3.50 around those 2 runners in a same race multi. So there's some other ways to play it. I think Casino Princess is the one that I do like, but just looking to try and find a couple of other angles as well.
Four-play time on the leg up for another week. He finds the angles, BP, doesn't he? That's the thing about him. He finds all those angles.
Anytime there's a new promotion or a new product, BP will be onto it and he'll find an angle. So listen.
The man.
He knows it before we've advertised.
Okay, 4-play time on the leg up. Your chance to win $100 bonus bet for 4-leg multi with our 4 good things of the weekend. We won't talk about how we're going, will we? Or 2 severe miss or disappointing misses.
See, the problem is
This change of track, are we waving the white flag?
we're not
yet,
synchronising, right?
Okay.
2 weeks ago, the U3 boys all got up.
Yeah.
I missed. Last week I got up, you 3 boys missed.
Oh, I see.
So we need to synchronise.
Okay,
right?
yeah. You say we only got 1 out of 4 last week.
That's exactly what we did there. It was,
Okay.
yeah, we're looking for a wee bit of improvement this week.
The only way is up. We'll start with you, BP. What's your 4-play bet?
All right, well, I've gone with La Creek to run top 4, $1.35. So it certainly is a little kick for touch, but just feel as though that's the right race for her, and she's $1.35 to run top 4, so we'll go with her.
Paulie?
I'm going to head to New Plymouth Race 6, and I like the look of the last start winner out of the Richardson Norvale barn, Confiance. Look, I've gone for a top 4 as well. Currently $2.05, and with Lisa Allpress aboard, I think she's a good chance to go back to back.
Okay, we needed someone to boost it. You've gone 205 Confiance. Steve?
Early proceedings at NP, race 1, the Maiden 1400, Eliud. Again, Lisa Allpress jumps aboard here. It's really taken by its last start, first up performance. Tony Pike does the care here for the son of Al Manzoor. I just feel he's got a bit of progression about him, and he'll put himself in the race early on the card. I think that's the spot to be. So Eliud, top 2 there. A little bit of insurance around the Alan Sharrett train galloper who could be fairly hard to beat. So at a top 2, $1.65.
Okay, very good. And I've gone Rotorua Race 1, Lock Katrine. Top 4 at $1.45. I think she's going to be very competitive. Obviously, Geatrix is in the race, but I think she only has to finish in the top 4 Lock Katrine of what we saw last time. I think she should be doing that. So that $100 multi could return you $519.20. Head to the TAB Facebook page. Interact with the leg up question, which is, of course, your favourite Rotorua Cup winner. Is that, I made that up on the spot.
Yeah, no, big time.
Yeah, okay, favourite Rotorua Cup winner. We better pull something in there. I bet BP's got a few already. Okay, best bet time on the leg up for another week. But before we have a look at where we're going to land this weekend, let's review how we went last weekend.
I'm going with my 4-play selection, and that is Francie in race 8.
Sulabella went to the lead. Little bit of love coming with it now. It's little bit of love. Sulabella, Brave Spirit and Neighbourhood out wide. Little bit of love took the lead. Little bit of love will beat Neighbourhood. Sulabella 3rd.
Oh, I'm a beaten man. I have no idea where I'm going. But what I am going to do, I'm going to head down to Riccarton Race 4. It's the listed Berkeley Stud Champagne Stakes. Over 1,200 metres for the 2-year-olds, and I'm going to go with a wee bit of North Island form.
Yeah.
I'm going with Tony Pike and Ziggy Stardust.
Colonel Warden, Ziggy Stardust starting to run on wide. A Discretion Rules, Ziggy Stardust a length away. It's Discretion Rules though. Discretion Rules a deserved win. Discretion Rules beat home. Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, I'll go for Asgard. Won a Maiden really impressively a few weeks ago at Otaki, and the clock backed it up as well.
Asgard the leader. Sulgatani's coming after. Blue Sky at Night's arriving with Fistown, and behind these GG's battling away. Blue Sky at Night dash to the lead out wide. From over on the inside, GG and If in Doubt Dance. Blue Sky at Night has come from last. Oh, that's a wonderful training feat that. Blue Sky at Night won it. Second over was GG. I think Fistown 3rd, and then we've got photos. Lorado with If in Doubt Dance, Sulgatani and Asgard.
Forgettable weekend, in all respects for the leg up crew.
Yeah, look, I missed, but I was encouraged by the fact that we didn't have to wait half an hour for Matt Cross to call my one across the line. So
yeah, exactly.
You're improving.
It's an improvement.
Those
Yeah,
performance ratings are
At least
lifting.
it finished second. Yeah, you boys were beaten by a couple of market movers too. Blue Sky at Night was a huge mover, and a little bit of love for you, BP. That managed to beat Francie, who was a lot of money for as well. But yeah, those market movers got us there, boys. We're going to do it this weekend, though. I've got all confidence in us, Pops, and we'll start with you.
Yeah, look, I will say this about Francie. I will be backing it again. That horse got poleaxed down the back straight, not once but maybe twice as well. So she'll be worth a follow again, despite her defeat there last weekend. I'm going with Geriatrics in the first race for my best bet. His run was enormous in the Cambridge Breeders last time too, the races. He just needs to be able to track into it at the right time and make sure that those leaders aren't getting away from him. If that is the case, he might find himself on an aeroplane to Brisbane.
It was a good run. For Geriatrics gets a bit of luck in running, it's going to be right there. There's no doubt about that. Paul, where have you landed?
I'm going to go to New Plymouth, race 4, and I like the look of the Alan Sherrick-trained Sumi. Only has to carry 54 kilos because of the stablemate in there up at 62. And I did like that last start third, so I think Sumi.
Yeah.
Currently $2.
Comes out of that freeze frame Carmen line race, doesn't it?
Does indeed.
Yeah, okay, nice one. And you followed the Alan Sherrick, put the top weight in, get the duet there. Very clever. Steve, your best bet of the weekend?
Yeah, I'll go to the last, Rotorua Park. Pure Fiction. Gee, if she can replicate what she did a few weeks ago on this course at this distance, she's going to be awfully hard to beat. We spoke at the top of the show. Horses that have finished in behind her on that occasion have come out and won since. She's drawn an outside gate. She drew outside last start at Rotorua Park, and Jess Allen was able to get across and lead. There's a bit more pressure in this race, but with 53 on her back, with that claim stepping up in grade, I think she's going to be hard to beat.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, following that thread of form, I like that around Pure Fiction for Steve's best bet of the weekend. Right, let's talk promos. Paulie, what have we got to look forward to this weekend?
We've got bonus back, as we do, every Saturday. And it's the first 4 races from 3 meetings this Saturday. Rotorua, the Sunshine Coast and Caulfield. Back to 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And it's in bonus cash,
Bonus
of
cash.
course.
Where's New Plymouth? I'll see that's not bonus back.
No, it's an odd surge. So we've got an odd surge on every race at New Plymouth this Saturday, on every runner, which means that you can get Sumi surged to 220 at the moment.
Okay, and some suggested bonus back bets for the weekend from the leg up team. BP, what have you got for your bonus back bet? Do you know?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go with a horse that will run in the maiden of the week for next week. I think this race looks that strong, the second race out of Rotorua, that it could be a very good form race. Detain, wow, what a trial. Absolutely blew them off the track at Pookie, and it beat home Part-Time Lover, who was very good last week out of Woodville. But, Mark Rosanowski, but it is a race where there is a lot of strong form around a few others that come in to that race with trial form or also very good race day form. So, yeah, one to look out for.
Okay, you've gone Kohiroa, Paul, Steve, you're with Swindle, race number 4 on the card.
Yeah, again, I'm just referring back.
Referring back
to the Rotorua Park meeting a few weeks ago. Swindle ran a brave second last start when resuming first start for Lauren Brennan, and I think, again, if that horse can replicate, it'll be very hard to beat. Nice bonus back bet.
Okay, and I've got race 1, Rootlock Katrine. Yes, Paul?
I think Swindle's actually in race 3, so we've got 2 bonus backs in the same race, Kohiroa and Swindle. Don't worry about it, it's fine, it's okay.
Well, you can choose who you like,
Yes.
Paul or Stephen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
head to head.
I'm sure they'll all
Take
be
a
going-
blended bet.
Blended bet, there we go. Very good. Okay, time to wrap it up for another week on the leg up. Thanks, BP, for all your efforts. You're heading down to Rotorua tomorrow?
Certainly will be. Yes, we'll be there tomorrow. Looking forward to it, actually. I can't wait for the day because there's strong fields throughout the program and the 2 features look to be really good. So, yes, you can catch me on Trackside 1 tomorrow at Rotorua.
Oh, jeez, he's too good, isn't he? That's a top cap, actually. We're looking to get hold of one of those at some point. Thank you, boys, for your efforts. Paul, good luck this weekend.
We don't seem to get that trickle down when it comes
There's
to
no trickle down to the Tony's,
merchandise.
yeah.
No,
No.
it doesn't reach this far down the
Stays
North
in
Island.
Auckland.
Just stays north of Taupo. That's about it.
Yeah, no.
So no, big weekend.
Yeah.
Up the wires. They got a
the wires.
tough battle on their hands against the Chooks, who have scored 100 points in their last
okay.
2 games.
I'm not going back to Pops. This will be another show.
Oh,
We're
boy.
going to start talking wires with BP. Thank you, Stephen, for your efforts, as always. Enjoy tomorrow.
First synthetic meeting for the Cambridge Club
Yep.
on Wednesday,
Okay.
and next Saturday, we've got Te Rapa and Trentham.
Okay, that's all to look forward to, but we're looking forward to tomorrow, and we'll see you again in 7 days' time on the leg up.